Hello and welcome. I am Kamna and this is video number 2 of preliminaries of mathematics that one should know or is expected to know before starting any advanced mathematics course. In this video, we are going to learn about function and a few operations on functions. So let's get started. As explained before, we are going to see a few operations on functions as well. So just like numbers, we can add numbers, we can multiply numbers. So we should be able to do that with functions also. Naturally, it comes to mind if and we can also define if f and 2 are two different functions, if f and g are two different functions, but they have to have same domain and same codomain. So if f and g both are functions from x to y, then we can define f plus g. How do we define f plus g? See, with functions what we have to do, we have to explain its operation on each of the element of the domain. And when we say each of the element, we cannot just go on grabbing elements from domain and showing it for everyone. So we just take an arbitrary element from the domain and we call it x. So we just show what happens to these functions when we operate it on one arbitrary function from x, where x is coming from the domain, and this is how we show how functions work. Okay, and we define it as f of x plus g of x. And now you might have recognized why the domain had to be the same, because if the domain is not same, f cannot work on x and g cannot work on x. So the domain had to be same and the codomain had to be same, because these are different entities. If these come from different sets and they don't have this operation plus, then we are doomed, right? We need to have these two entities from the same set or the same codomain. Okay, so the domain and codomain of f and g has to be the same. Now with multiplication, it's a bit tricky, not too much. We don't call it multiplication even. We call it the composition of functions. Let's see the rigorous definition directly. Definition of composition of function or composite function. Composition of functions. Right. When I say composition of functions, that there has to be two different functions, right? So if f is a function from x to y and g is a function, behold, from y to z. Now did you see what happened here? The domains are different, codomains are different, but what is happening is the codomain of f is same as domain of g. So what we want is, even if the domains are codomain and domain are different, it's fine. Range of y, range of f should be inside domain of g. This is the rule. Okay, range of this should be in the domain. Then we can define the composition, and the composition is defined like this. The composition G circle F or G composite F is defined as, it is defined as something h. H will be a function now from x to z. So this domain and this codomain, now these are combining because of the multiplication or so called multiplication, or let's say composition, right? So h equal to G circle F, it is defined as a function from x to z such that h of x is equal to G circle F of x, that is equal to g of f of x, and this is true for all the x in x. Alright, now do you see why the range had to be inside the domain of g? Because this will be from the range, and for g to work on this element, this has to be in the domain. Okay, so this codomain and this domain has to be the same, or the range of f has to be inside the domain of g. So this is the composite function. H is the composite function or G circle F is the composite function. Now notice that here domain of codomain of G does not coincide with domain of F. So we cannot define here right. In this case we could not have defined F circle G, right. This was not possible, but G circle F was possible. In some cases both are possible, okay. Like if F is a function from R to R, so the codomain is R, domain is also R, range is inside R, and G is a function from again R to R. Here the codomain of G is also the domain of F. So G circle F and F circle G, they both exist, but they need not be the same. Now that's the tricky part. Why do they not need to be same? We'll show this by an example. Okay. Let's say F is a, well, let's just take a square function and let's take G as 2x. We have already seen these examples, right? F is a function from R to R and G is also a function from R to R. What happens to F circle G? F circle G of x would be F of G of x by definition. That would be F of G of x is 2x, right? G of x is 2x and F of 2x. So whatever goes inside comes out as a square. So here 2x got inside F and what came out was whole square, 2x whole squared, which is 4x squared. Now let's see what happens with G circle F. Okay, so G circle F, let me remove this. So G circle F of x, this will be G of f of x, right? And that will be G of x squared. Now whatever goes in comes as twice of that quantity. Whatever goes in comes as twice of that quantity. And this was 4x squared and this is 2x squared. So definitely if on this arbitrary element of x, if these do not match, then they are not equal. Is absolutely not equal to G circle F. Okay. To prove something, we have to prove it on arbitrary element. To disprove something, we can just give one example and we are done. So I disproved that G circle F does not have to be equal to F circle G by this example. Okay. These were defined, they existed like these separate entities, but they are unequal. Okay. Let's go ahead with another kind of function. Now this is a type of function that will be important in many ways. Let's just see the rigorous definition. We are seeing the definition of identity function. This is the easiest function to remember. Identity function is usually denoted by I, and if the domain is x, then there is a suffix x also, or just simply I. Okay. An identity function on a set x denoted like this is defined by I of x is equal to x, or Ix of x is equal to x. So whatever comes in goes in, comes out as it is, no change. Okay. And this is true for all the elements of the domain. Okay, this is the identity function, easiest function ever. What happens when we multiply this or take the composition of this function with any other function? Now if we say f is a function from R to R, f of x is equal to x square, and identity function from R to R, we already know I of x will be the same real number as goes in. Okay, so what will happen to f composite I? We already know that they are defined. Okay, f composite I can be defined. So this will be f of I of x. I of x we already know, f of x, and that's it. We don't have to do anything. F of x is x square, right? And if we take I circle f of x, this will be I of f of x. We know that f of x is just x square. With identity function, what goes in comes out, so this is x square again, and this are the same, right? 1 and 2 are the same. So in this case, you take anything with identity function, that function is going to come. Okay, on arbitrary element, if this is happening, we can just say that I circle f is equal to f circle I, and it both came to be the function as it is, as if only f were acting, right? F of x was x square, and this acting on x was also x square, this acting on x was also x square. So as functions, these all three are equal. So what is happening, can you identify this with any kind of number that we multiply into other numbers and the same number comes out? Like if I multiply 10 by something and 10 comes again. See, do you see the similarity? So this is kind of 1. Okay, this is one of functions. Like number 1, if I multiply anything by 1, I get that thing, right? Similarly, in functions, if I multiply identity function with any function, then only f comes out. And this is true both ways, from the right and from the left. Okay, it's a property to remember about the functions. Now that we have talked about identity, we can talk about one more thing. Just like we have reciprocals in the numbers, we can talk about some kind of reciprocal sense in functions also, right? So if f is a function from x to y and g, okay, let me move this notebook around a little bit. G is a function from y to x. Did you see these flipping over? Okay, if these are such functions, then G is called left inverse of f if G circle f is equal to the identity function of x. Okay, so x I am putting. Also, G is said to be the right inverse, and G is called, okay, let me change the pen. This is called left inverse, this is called right inverse of f if f circle G is equal to I y. Now identity functions are a bit different. Identity will act as identity only, but this is the identity function on the domain of f or x, and this is the function on domain of G. All right. So these are the definitions of left and right inverses. See, G is called the left inverse, so G is being composed into f from the left side, and G is called the right inverse, so G is composed with f from the right side. We can also say f is a left inverse of G here. Okay. So this is just like the numbers. If 2 has reciprocal 1 by 2 and we multiply them together, we get the identity, right? Identity in numbers is 1. We just saw. Okay, so after that we will go towards a one theorem. So very easy theorem, and it talks about one property of objects. It's called as associative property or associativity. Okay, associative property of composition of functions. The theorem says if f is a function from f to y, x to y, g is a function from y to z, and h is another function from z to w. These are three different functions. Then what we will have h circle g circle f. So this is one composite function, and then we are composing h from the left hand side to this composite function. Okay, this should be the same as if we composite h and g first and then write composite f with this. Okay, so these are two different quantities and these two are different quantities, but we have to prove that they are the same. To prove that they are the same, first of all, let's just move the notebook ahead so that you can see this on the same page. I will keep it here so you can see the claim, right? This is what we have to prove. Alright, let's take another ink and start the proof. Again, while proving two functions are equal, we have to prove them equal on each element. So we'll take just one arbitrary element, one general element, and prove that they are equal, they behave equally on that general element. Okay, so let just take one element. Do you know what the domain of this function will be? Are they defined or not? So the domain of this function, we usually take, what do we take? The domain of this last function will be the domain of this entire function. Okay, so we'll just roughly orally check if they exist or not. F has the domain x and f goes to y. So this will go to this, this composite will go to, will have the domain x and codomain z, and h is defined from z. So we don't have a problem there. So this will have the domain x and this will have the domain, codomain w. Okay. Similarly, you can check for this also. So they exist, that is pretty trivial. Okay. They are defined. We take just an arbitrary element x from the domain x and we apply. Okay, h circle g circle f of x. We are applying this on x, the whole bunch of operations on the little x. What we are doing is h of this function of x. This is how the composite works, right? I will just shift this equal sign here. It is h of. Now how this works, we again know it is g of f of x. Alright, this is equation 1. Did I just put? This is equation 1. We can have another one with another ink, of course. If we have it, we can use it. H circle g in one bracket and then composite f, and this is all being operated on little x. And what happens is h circle g is being composed with f, so this is working on f of x. And when I say h circle g is working on something, I mean h is working on g of that value. And see the right hand sides, they are exactly the same. For x in x, for every x in x, in fact, we have from equation 1 and 2 the left hand sides to be the same. and if on each element of x these are equal, then as a functions they should be equal. So H circle G circle F must be equal to H circle G circle F, but with shifted parenthesis, and this is called as the property of associativity of composition of functions. That's it for today, guys. We will see how these properties combine to form a different kind of structure on a set. If you like this video, give a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you understood the concepts that we took in this video. See you in the next one. Bye.